This water vole translocation project came about because we got approached to do some water vole surveys, and it turned out the voles needed to be translocated to a new site, and we just thought that the site here would be absolutely perfect. It's got the right level of predator management which is needed to keep the water vole population, and it's got the right kind of habitat and the habitat management that's going on here. We've done some habitat work, so we've done some ditch clearance and ditch maintenance. The work here to do, especially for the voles, is going to have a huge benefit for most species that use these types of wet meadows. So it's going to have a benefit to the breeding waders by having better clearance along the ditch line, so we don't have the sort of willow scrub that had built up. And also we've created some bare patches along the ditch line, so that's going to be really good, one for the breeding waders, but also for dragonflies, damselflies, and other ditch invertebrates as well. Water voles use the main river channels, but they also use the carrier ditches and the side channels. Here we've really focused on those carrier ditches and the side channels. So the main carrier ditch has got quite steep banks. That's really good for their main burrows. But then the side ditches are very good for good foraging habitats. The estate is, they love wildlife, they love their conservation projects, and so they're keen to be really involved. And you've got Rupert, who's just, the champion for wildlife here, and, will really make sure that it actually works.
Historically, we were aware that water voles lived here up until the sort of early 80s. There was a population here. Unfortunately, their demise was largely due to the presence of American mink. Since then, we've been actively trapping them using the GWCT raft system, and this has benefited the waders, as we've been part of the Waders for Real project. The water vole project is just going to fit neatly into lots of other projects that we carry out here on Bisterne. It's 4,000 acres, and there's not much that isn't under some sort of stewardship or some sort of recovery project. So it's just another piece in the jigsaw of getting species recovery or reintroduction of species where it suits and is viable.
We are releasing water voles here at Bisterne, and the background for it is all to do with the Environment Agency project at Salisbury. They needed to translocate water voles from a section of the River Avon in Salisbury to enable them to do some work. So I think it was back last year, we came and had a look at the site here as a receptor habitat essentially. So we decided that the watercourses here, the ditch network, was absolutely fantastic for water voles. We trapped the water voles from the impacted section in Salisbury back in the spring, but because we only caught kind of 12, a small number of water voles, it wasn't a minimum viable population. So we then went on, the EA funded some captive breeding. So we've bred around about 50 voles this summer, which have been released today, and we will go on to breed more for release next spring. So we travelled up with the voles today. We put all the voles from their transfer boxes into the soft release pens, which the team here have kind of put by the river. They'll stay there for 5 days in the cages. On the third day we modify the pen to allow the voles to come and go, so they kind of get 3 days in the pen to settle in, and then a further 2 days where they can come and go to kind of get established, and then on the 5th day we take the boxes away completely. Couldn't have done this really without all of the mink eradication work, without all the habitat creation work that's been going on here. It's just a fantastic site, and it's perfect for water voles really. So it's great to see them back.